A wealthy man invited his black housekeeper to an event as a prank. She showed up looking stunning, and everyone was shocked to discover her true identity. Cruel laughter filled the grand entrance of the Blackwood estate in Beverly Hills as Victoria Sterling came down the white stone steps in an expensive gown worth more than what many attendees earned in a year. The guests weren't impressed. They were mocking her viciously. "She actually came," Richard Blackwood muttered to those around him. "The woman who scrubs our floors." At 35 years old, Victoria never thought she'd enter that elegant room as an invited guest, particularly as someone's joke. She'd spent 2 years scrubbing every surface of the estate, remaining unseen and unheard. The invite had come 3 days before, delivered with a sneer. "Gala this Saturday. Formal attire required. I'm sure you own something appropriate." Richard's companions snickered. It was clearly designed to embarrass her in front of California's elite. "I'll wager you $100,000 she won't come," Richard told his spouse Helena. "And if she appears, we'll make her the evening's amusement." However, Richard was unaware of 2 facts about Victoria. She'd been raised in estates like this before circumstances forced her to clean them, and hardship had only made her stronger. Victoria moved through the crowd amid sneers, maintaining perfect posture and a calm expression. "That gown must be a rental," Vivian Chambers muttered. "So embarrassing." They had no idea Victoria hadn't purchased, borrowed, or rented the dress. She'd simply taken it from her own history, a history Richard would have destroyed had he known about it. Richard strutted over, full of self-importance. "Victoria, what a surprise. When someone of your background gets invited to something this prestigious." "My background?" Victoria's composed voice sliced through the air. "Please continue, Richard. Complete that thought." Her tone momentarily caught Richard off guard. "Well, someone unfamiliar with these circles. This must be overwhelming for you." Victoria gave a dangerous smile. "Overwhelmed? Not at all, Richard. I'm standing exactly where I've always had the right to be." Richard declared to everyone, "Let me present our special attendee this evening, Victoria, who cleans our home." The room filled with jeering. Smartphones captured the moment for posting online. Patricia Weston came closer. "Victoria, how much time did you spend picking out that outfit? This gown has significance." Victoria answered evenly. "It was my mother's. She last wore it in a venue like this 2 decades ago, back when she was known as Victoria Temps Blackwood." Complete silence fell. "What was that?" Richard spun around slowly. "Temps Blackwood. Interesting how certain people conveniently erase their own family connections." Richard's complexion went white. "You're insane. This isn't entertainment, Richard. It's our shared past." Victoria revealed a ring, the traditional Blackwood family engagement piece with its signature blue sapphire. "My grandfather, Henry Blackwood, gave this to my mother." "Where did you obtain that?" Richard trembled. "How dare you take? You cannot take what belongs to you by inheritance." Victoria paused for effect. "I'm not your cousin, Richard. I'm your half-sibling." Shocked whispers erupted throughout the space. "Henry Blackwood had a relationship with my mother, Isabella, lasting 5 years. When she became pregnant, your father vowed to support us. You chose to act like we didn't exist. You stopped our financial support, took our home, and left us destitute." "Show me evidence," Richard demanded frantically. Victoria smiled knowingly. "Did you imagine I'd arrive unprepared?" She signaled toward the doorway. "You may enter." 3 individuals walked in who would transform everything. Diane Morrison, an investigative reporter, David Chun, an estate lawyer, and Dr. Hamilton, the family's personal doctor. Hamilton's voice wavered. 2 decades ago, I was coerced into signing a false death record. Henry Blackwood's death wasn't from natural causes. He was gradually poisoned with arsenic over several months." Richard panicked, perspiring heavily. "Hamilton, you've lost your mind. Your father discovered the funds you were stealing. He'd revised his will to recognize Victoria and planned to turn you in when he started experiencing unusual symptoms." David Chun presented an official report. "This blood specimen was analyzed recently. The arsenic concentration was lethal. Victoria linked her device to the audio equipment. A recording emerged, unmistakably Richard's voice. "Hamilton, stay silent about any irregularities in the old man's blood work, and that woman and her illegitimate child are on their own." Total silence enveloped the room. 2 decades. Victoria cried out, her calm facade cracking briefly. 20 years spent cleaning up after my own father's murderer. Richard crumpled. "Please, this will ruin everything we've built. You ruined everything when you valued wealth over truth." The following hours transformed the gala into the biggest controversy Beverly Hills had witnessed. Diane Morrison displayed documentation, photographs, audio recordings, financial payments to Dr. Hamilton, conversations about embezzlement, blackmail proof. Miss Temps is pursuing a $50 million lawsuit, David Chun declared. "Your business is valued at $120 million, Victoria stated quietly, "and 50% has always rightfully been mine." As law enforcement came to take Richard into custody, Victoria stepped onto the terrace. Helena joined her. What comes next? Now, the legal system will finally work. Half a year later, Victoria occupied Richard's previous workspace, fully remodeled. Richard had received a 25-year prison term. Victoria had boosted corporate earnings by 40% through the simple act of treating staff with respect. In a Forbes profile, the reporter questioned, "Critics say your payback was excessive. Payback would have meant doing to him what he did to me." Victoria responded, "Justice means holding him accountable for his actions. That's a crucial distinction. What would you tell others experiencing comparable injustices?" Victoria gazed at workers who now enjoyed dignity and fair treatment. The ultimate victory isn't annihilating those who wronged you. It's creating something so remarkable that the injustice becomes merely the opening chapter of a success story. That evening, Victoria went home to 2 foster daughters who, like herself, deserved another opportunity. Richard attempted to humiliate a domestic worker and realized he'd misjudged an heir. Most importantly, he discovered that honor isn't purchased, passed down, or taken. It's demonstrated through our actions when nobody's watching.